Hey guys, Happy Gabba here, and today we're on a mission here in Bellacula. We're in the Bell 412, and we're going to be doing quite an interesting flight today. We're going to be flying out to a big ship laying out in the bay, a big tanker ship. They've got a helipad on board, and they really need some supplies delivered. That's kind of the only reason we're flying this mission today, because it is absolutely terrible weather. But they really need it quite, as soon as they can. So they've been called out. It is possible to fly in this condition with the Bell 412, but it's just on the limits. It's gusting up to 32 knots today, which is really high speeds, but the Bell 412 can handle up to 35 knots. Yeah, so we'll get going out there. We're going to bring some people on the way back, but this should be an interesting flight. We're going to be using the autopilot quite a lot in this flight. So that'll be a good point to show you guys how the autopilot in the Bell 412 works. I'm also a bit sick, so if I cough or sneeze or something like that in the middle of it, please excuse me. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's get going. Alright. So due to these supplies, we're also quite heavy, so that'll make it quite fun to fly. Alright, fairly stable hover, but as soon as wind gusts come in, it's going to be pretty terrible. We'll try and taxi out here. Crosswind's going to be quite substantial and definitely noticeable. It's not too bad in a helicopter, of course. Don't have to worry about too much, landing sideways where it isn't good for the wheels or something like that. But of course, still very cautious. Really see we've got a bit of a crab angle. I'm putting in a lot of left stick, and we have to keep a bit of a bank angle to make sure we don't drift too far to the left. Alright, we'll start our climb here. I think we'll get going on the autopilot as soon as we can safely. We're going to set it up so we have a bit of a climb going, and we'll set it up so we're going at about 120 knots if it can handle that. Now, when using the autopilot in this, it doesn't take in consideration the torque, so you still have to manage that yourself. And the way you do that is you don't go crazy high climb rates, and you don't go crazy high speeds at the same time, because if you do that, you'll definitely overtorque the engine, and there's no way to kind of stop that. You'll have to manage it by using your speed and climb rate. Alright, so the clouds are about 1,000 feet, so I think we'll try to stay at about 700 feet here, but quite up high speed. So I think we'll first thing we're going to do is we're going to turn on SAS ATT. We're going to go to indicated airspeed and bring that back down to about 120. I'm going to go heading mode, so that's going to follow the heading that we have set here on our compass. And then we're going to go vertical speed mode, and we'll start a climb here, just to make sure we don't go too low and go into any trees or something like that. Alright, so SASTT, that's what you need to switch it into ATT mode to be able to use the autopilot. We'll start a bit of a higher climb here, because you can see our torque isn't too high. Also start a right turn here. Yeah, so you needed an ATT mode to be able to use the autopilot. That basically means that the autopilot can use the roll and the pitch to change, so it isn't limited to only the rudder. And then you have to, I like to switch it into indicated airspeed mode first to get the airspeed under control, because if we're trying to push 130 knots and at the same time climb, there's a chance that it's going to over torque. So indicated airspeed, get the airspeed under control. Then vertical speed to make sure you don't fly into the ground, because it'll keep the vertical speed that you had on when you turned on the autopilot. So just trying to make sure that. Now I'm going to switch into altitude mode, and we'll keep it about 750 feet here. I'm quite happy with this altitude. Just going to start a bit more of a right turn. We don't want to get pushed into this hill off to our left due to the wind. Yeah, so if you want to change anything, if I want to speed up, you know, you can see we're not putting too much power, so I could definitely speed up. Sorry. You want to click the indicated airspeed. That's going to make you able to manipulate the numbers on this section right here. And when you then manipulate it, if you click it once again, it'll turn off the indicated airspeed mode. But if I want to change the altitude, for example, I can click the altitude once. I can change the altitude, and then if I were to click it again, it would turn the altitude mode off. Alright, now you can also use the GPS to navigate with. Now, if you want to do that, you need to click the CDI button down here, which is going to switch it into GPS. Normally, it'll be in V-lock mode, but you want to switch it into GPS mode if you want to use this. Start a bit of a left turn here. Alright, so you can also do ILS approaches in this helicopter, which is a really neat feature. I've done a couple, and I might do a video on it, because it's quite fun to do instrument approaches with the ILS. It can be a bit finicky and not always so intuitive, and you kind of have to set up like a flight plan in the GPS and stuff like that, but it's really quite fun to do, so very much recommend trying it out. Great sections on it in the manual, and you can always ask in the forums for this helicopter. The developers are very active on there and very nice to help you out with any issues that you may have. Alright. Still just monitoring the torque, making sure everything's looking good. You know, we've got good airspeed. Airspeed is getting up near 140 knots due to the gusting winds. Just want to make sure we don't fly into this hill, so I think we'll do a bit more of a right-hand heading here. Now the ship should be out here, not too far. It'll definitely be an interesting landing. It's not the biggest helipad in the world, so so it should be fun with these winds, but we should have pretty much a straight headwind on the helipad, otherwise we'll have to kind of point the nose into that direction to remain controllable. Alright. Now another tip you can do if you want to have this GPS, if you hated not being kind of up on the console and it being in the center console, you can by turning on the onboard MX20, Garmin MX20 I think it's called, indeed MX20. If you turn that on, let's actually start a left turn again. If you turn that on, you can actually get your GNS 530 onto that display like that, and that'll display the GNS 530. You can't manipulate everything, but you can still, you know, have a pretty good situational awareness just by looking at it, which is quite nice. Right. So of course when flying on the autopilot, you might think that you kind of have a day off and you're just relaxing, but in reality it's all about managing and really making sure that everything is running like it should. So basically just keeping a watch on the helicopter, making sure you aren't doing anything hazardous or the autopilot works like it should, making sure you aren't flying into the ground, all that kind of stuff. Alright, so we got the ship out here. Ship's looking pretty good. They've got two tugboats just keeping an eye on it, making sure it doesn't drift too far. I'm guessing in this water, making sure it's not going to hit any land. They're quite a big boat, and I think we'll start getting set up on the approach. Sweet, so we got a good altitude, got a good speed going. Our heading's gonna get us onto the approach course. Yeah, so boats faced pretty much to the northwest. So that's quite good planning. Guessing they have an interest in being faced into the wind as well. I'm guessing. All right, I think we'll disable the autopilot here. So to do that, we'll start turning these things off. So indicated airspeed, altitude, and heading mode, and then we'll hit the SAS ATT mode off. It's going to let us manipulate again. And then we want to catch the collective, and we're going to start to bring that down. And oh, looks like we got an engine failure. Alright, engine fire. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, we're going to have to land as soon as we can. We're quite heavy, so this is definitely going to be interesting. So you're already pulling a lot of power now. Now, the only thing I can say is we might be lucky with the winds. But we're going to do a practice approach here first. And have a look and see how much power we pull. Yes, 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 yes. Rotor RPMs is good. Okay, so the winds are quite strong, so we're going to be within translational lift. But this is going to be an interesting landing. Our second engine is really working on overtime right now. Really doing all it can. I think we're pretty much forced to land here though, because these winds, I wouldn't trust it to fly down. I don't know why we had an engine failure as well, or an engine fire, so obviously I wouldn't want to fly too much longer. I wouldn't want the fire to spread, even though I believe it's probably been put out by the fire avoidance thing. Okay. Don't want to get too much of a descent going. We're going to slow it right down now. You see our speed is really way up there. But we're not closing that fast because it's of course gusting all the way up to about 30 knots. Whoa! Don't know what that was. Almost like we just hit something. I don't think that was wind. But definitely sketchy. Okay, our engine is working on overtime. This is fine though. Easy on the landing. These winds are terrible. There we go. And we're down. Wow, that was sketchy. Okay, well, I think we're just going to shut down here because doesn't seem like there's any flying going to be happening anytime soon. Right, well that's I guess been a shorter flight than expected, but thank you guys for watching. I'll definitely get this helicopter shut down because that was not fun. Really looks like we had an engine failure. I think we'll get some exterior shots here. I'll throw them in at the end, and then yeah, sketchy. Didn't quite expect that. Well, now we're stranded on a boat, so so hopefully we can get some mechanics out here at some point to do this. Even though now they have no place to land, they'll have to come by boat. All right. Well, thank you guys very much for watching. If you did enjoy this video with an abrupt ending, let me know. And until the next video, guys, take care.